The meaning of life is irony, and with that in mind, we can't expect death to be serious. Some deaths are just funny. If Guineazilla hugs you to death, it's just funny. Still tragic, but funny. Sigard the Mighty was a notorious 9th century Viking. For his part in the Viking invasion of Scotland, he was made a lord. At first ruling over a small collection of islands, he invaded the Scottish mainland. His conquests were so successful he came to be known as the Mighty. It seems like no one could defeat him. Sigard challenged a native leader to a fair battle, with each side agreeing to bring 40 men with them. But Sigard brought 80 men with him, and easily secured victory. He beheaded the enemy leader and tied the head to his horse. Sigard accidentally scratched his leg on the head's teeth while riding, causing infection and ultimately his death. It was short-sighted of him, as the beheaded man was literally known as the Buck-Toothed. In the early 19th century, there were many attempts to go over Niagara Falls in a barrel. Most died from the fall. Bobby Leech was the second person to survive it, with his massive steel barrel, but he spent 6 months in hospital recovering from injuries from the fall. He gained fame from this and came to be known as a daredevil. So how did this crazy daredevil die? He slipped on an orange peel. He was in New Zealand on a publicity tour when he slipped on an orange peel and broke his leg. Gangrene set in and he soon died. Jack Daniel founded a whiskey company with an incredibly original name. A local slave taught him to make whiskey when he was just a boy. The slave was a master distiller, and Daniel dedicated his life to whiskey, which in those days was like dedicating your life to charity. He was killed by this safe. Each morning the safe was opened, but one 1906 morning Daniel forgot the combination. To avoid transforming into the Hulk, he angrily kicked the safe. His toe broke and became infected, which he died from 5 years later. King Martin of Argon laughed himself to death. Someone told him a killer joke and he died laughing, because that is possible. Well, I hope you're all familiar with the moon rabbits, because I'm about to tell you that deadly joke. After a king-size meal, his favorite jester approached. He asked the jester where he had been, who replied, "In the vineyard where I saw a young deer hanging by its tail from a tree," as if someone had so punished him for stealing figs. And the king died after laughing for 3 hours. 3 hours. That's the worst joke I've ever heard. And he laughed for 3 hours before falling to the ground dead. 3 hours. Gary Hoy was a Canadian lawyer. In 1993, he was demonstrating the safety of his office building's windows. In front of a group of students, he ran into the glass, hoping to prove its strength. He bounced into the window and the glass did not break. Unfortunately, the window frame did break and he fell to his death. I don't know why this lawyer was so determined to prove the strength of the glass, but at least he died doing what he loved. Last December, there was an extremely well-planned wedding in a location special to the bride and groom. Everything was perfect, and then, on their wedding day, at their chosen location, a tree fell on the mother of the bride. She was crushed to death by a 100-foot tree. It's not funny. If you're laughing right now, you're a terrible person. Jean-Baptiste Lully was a 17th century composer, popular among the French aristocracy, but he's most noteworthy for his brilliant death. And if you laugh at this one, you're going straight to hell. He conducted himself to death. He accidentally smashed himself in the foot with his conducting staff. After crushing his own foot mid-song, infection set in. Doctors wanted to amputate, but he wouldn't allow it. Gangrene spread and killed him. So really, he was the first person to die from conducting too hard. This man, whose name I can't pronounce, was a biblical hero. Very little is known about him other than his death. He was involved in a Jewish rebellion against a powerful ancient empire. When it came to a final battle, his side were heavily outnumbered by the empire. But if they could kill the king, the rebels might be able to steal victory. It was believed the king was riding into battle on a war elephant. He ran towards the elephant and thrust his spear into its belly. This killed the elephant and caused it to fall onto him, killing him also. The rebels still lost the battle, so his absurdly dramatic death was for nothing. In ancient Greece, the first ever democratic legislator was called Draco. Elected to make laws, he established an incredibly harsh system. The term draconian is derived from his set of laws. Before him, Athenian law was oral and loosely interpreted from case to case. Despite the harshness of his constitution, he still had many supporters in the city. It's said that on one strange day he entered a theatre, where his supporters greeted him. They threw hats and cloaks onto him in celebration. They threw so much clothing he became trapped under it and suffocated to death. So that's the end of this video. If you want to support this channel, you can do so simply by leaving a like. And if you want more content from me, I have a second channel where I do different videos about different things.